Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. The most important climate summit since the last one is held at the United Nations, and we already know countries need to do more to save the planet.
And television has never been this damn good.
Awards are given out to rich people in Hollywood for the work they do on television. An intimate look at a traditional Turkish industry. And celebrating 25 years of some people's favourite sitcom. And top of our newsfeed, the climate summit in New York. World leaders will discuss the dangers the planet faces if pollution is not reduced. Now, we've been here before. There have been many summits, much talking, and yet polluting emissions continue to increase and the planet continues to warm. The United Nations' own Weather Service says these past 5 years have been the hottest ever recorded. Here's Adama.
What the science tells us today is that these targets are still reachable.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres' rallying cry is simple and clear. Countries need to do much more to combat the climate crisis. This week's UN Climate Action Summit will show which countries are ahead of the curve and which ones need to pull their weight. World leaders are expected to make more ambitious plans than those made in the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. Leading world scientists say targets need to be 5 times more ambitious and that the plans need to be revised.
The pledges made in Paris are in an order where we need to at least triple them if we're going to be below 2 degrees, and we need to at least 5-fold or even more if we are aiming for the 1.5 degrees. So we really talk about a major increase in ambition. That's what this whole summit is about. The other one is then, of course, looking at, are they actually doing the things they promised in Paris? And that's a more sort of mixed picture, because some countries are doing more than they promised, but sometimes it's because the promises were quite low. But in other cases, some of the countries are struggling with implementation.
Costa Rica is one of a tiny club of countries that are close to being weaned off fossil fuels. But they are still dependent on oil for their transport sector. On Sunday, Germany announced it will join the Powering Past Coal Alliance to phase out its coal production by 2038. This adds to their commitment to stop using nuclear energy too. The government of Angela Merkel announced a $60 billion package to cut the country's carbon emissions by 55% by 2030. But global greenhouse gas emissions continue to rise. While the US is ahead of China under the CO2 per capita measurement, China is the world's biggest emitter overall. America's president has withdrawn the country from the Paris Agreement, and it increases its pollution of the environment. President Trump has also avoided speaking on the situation at the recent G7. And civic society and ordinary people are attempting to hold their governments accountable. Global social movements for climate action are gaining strength. Some of the world's biggest banks have agreed to try and do their part. This will mean banks set targets to increase the positive impact their lending can have, which should mean more money for environmentally friendly projects and less money for the fossil fuel industry. On Friday, 4 million people protested in massive international climate strikes, many of them led by young people.
The people in power, their beautiful words are the same. The number of politicians and celebrities who want to take selfies with us are the same. The empty promises are the same. The lies are the same. And the inaction is the same.
Climate change is already here, but the world is at an important turning point. There's a new urgency and a new opportunity to act. Billions are hoping the opportunity is seized. Okay, here's a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media.
Now, it was the official Batman Day over the weekend. Yeah, I didn't know one of those existed either, but the Cape Crusader does have his own special day. It's marketing by DC Comics and Warner Brothers. Anyway, it resulted in this: cities around the world sending up the bat signal. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. It's now 80 years since the bat first made an appearance. And this is the latest trailer for the new Netflix film El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Fans of the show seem to be suitably excited at the prospect of this one. It will be released on October the 11th.
The level of carnage, quote, staggering. Apparently, a remote-controlled machine gun was used in the killings. Investigators are searching for a person of interest who fled the scene. Anyone with information on this massacre is asked to call police immediately.
And there was a glitzy awards ceremony last night, and the big winners in America were quite a few Brits. Here's a Newsfeed's top 5 Emmy moments.
Television has never mattered more. And television has never been this damn good.
If it can happen to me, then you...
Don't!
And the Emmy goes to Game of Thrones.
Controversy, I think for us, we knew what we were doing was right, story-wise, and we knew that it was right for the characters because we'd lived with them for 10 years, and I think that kind of, so controversy for us didn't really affect us.
How's the old no host thing going?
What a dumb idea.
What a joke.
So stupid. You know what has a host? Applebee's has a host.
Yeah. They have food, too.
We would have brought food.
Yeah.
And now you guys are going to starve to death.
You know who the real victims are here? It's us. Hosting is the only thing we know how to do.
I'm sorry, but this show sucks.
You would have been a great host.
You would have been even better, Stephen.
I know.
When you put value into a person, it empowers that person to get in touch with their own inherent value, and then where do they put that value? They put it into their work. And so the next time a woman, and especially a woman of color, because she stands to make 52 cents on the dollar compared to her white male counterpart, tells you what she needs in order to do her job, listen to her, believe her, because one day she might stand in front of you and say thank you for allowing her to succeed because of her workplace environment and not in spite of it.
Okay, we will keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Monday. FIFA says the Iranian Football Federation has promised that women will be allowed to watch games in stadiums starting from next month. The death of a woman known as the Blue Girl once again highlighted the ban on women in football stadiums there. Saha Khareri snuck into a game dressed as a man. When authorities found out, they threatened her with prison. She took her own life rather than do jail time. FIFA says the first game women will be allowed to watch live will be Iran versus Cambodia on October the 10th. Well, this is footage posted on Facebook of a man called Stephen Webber proposing to his girlfriend. He drowned while doing this. His girlfriend wrote on Facebook, "You never emerged from those depths, so you'll never hear my answer. Yes, yes, a million times yes, I will marry you." The tragic incident happened at a resort in Zanzibar. And PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG, is the fastest growing game on mobile right now. It's even with Fortnite on iPhone and even bigger on Android. And it's made over $1 billion for its creators, Tencent. And next, Canan has been out just north of Istanbul to get hands-on with a traditional Turkish way of working with fabric. Take a look at this.
Şile bezi, which translates to the cloth of Şile, is a transparent, very thin, almost like linen fabric. So I'm sitting here now with Berna Hanım. We're about to light a fire so we can start the process of Şile bez. Looking for the perfect one. And now we're gonna go and fetch some seawater. Şimdi suyumuz kaynadı. Şimdi işlemlere başlayacağız herhalde.
Evet, şimdi unumuzu hazırlayacağız çorbamızı yapabilmemiz için. Kazana döktüm. Ondan sonra siz onu iyice unu suyla kaynaşana kadar karıştırıyorsunuz. Bunu yapma sebebimiz ipliğin mukavemetini arttırmak, kayganlığını sağlamak için yapıyoruz. Un suyla karıştıktan sonra eleğimizi alıp kazanın içine döküyoruz. Elekten geçirerek.
So the next process involves pulling these bundled up strings. So the reason why we're pulling these apart like this is we are about to put them into the boiling water and flour so that they can easily absorb the flour and water mixture.
Çekiyoruz. Aynen. Tekrar açıyoruz.
So Berna Hanım is now teaching me how to use this machine so we can weave the strings in order to make this fabric. And now for the fun part. It's time to wash these clothes. So basically we need to make sure that the cloth soaks in all of the seawater. So now that we've washed the fabric, we can now go lay it on the sand so we can dry.
Şu ucu bir ucu alıp siz o tarafa doğru gidin.
It is believed that the sand of the Şile beach has a special substance that is beneficial for the fabric. When laid on the sand to dry, the fabric absorbs this special substance, which enables it to be sweat-proof. And that is why you don't sweat when you wear anything made out of Şile bezi. So the fabric that we made, weaved and washed has finally made its way to the workshop. So now the first step is to give this a good iron so it can be nice and smooth for the next step. So the shirt that was getting cut up before has now gone through to the next stage of being sewn. Let's have a look at the end product. Teşekkür ederim. Pretty neat, I'd say. From ladies wear, men's wear, children's wear to even homeware, everything about the Şile bez is 100% organic and 100% natural. What's more interesting though are the different motifs that are hand-stitched onto the material. These motifs have a different name and a different story behind it. Come on, I need to do some shopping too.
And last up, Friends is 25 today. That's a quarter of a century since those 20-somethings started hanging out in each other's unusually large New York apartments and a coffee shop called Central Perk. To mark the occasion, some people have been posting their own versions of the Friends theme tune to the internet. But thanks to the Rembrandts, we put a few of them together for you. And that will do you from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel and you can follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again very soon.